What's up, everyone, and thanks for tuning back into the Game Room. On this episode, we're going to recap the last 2 weeks of games. Things got a little bit hairy last week. We're going to make some corrections. We also want to fill you in on what's going on around Lackawanna College and our esports community because of the coronavirus and what's happening in all the other leagues, so stay tuned to hear more.
Want to touch my face.
The Game Room is a production of Lackawanna College, serving students, graduates, and our surrounding communities since 1894. This episode is sponsored by Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Learn more at gamefuel.com.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 7 of The Game Room. I'm Teddy.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
And we're going to start every episode just like we always do with the patch notes. All right, so on today's patch notes, we wanted to cover last week, this week's games in the ECAC, NJCAAE, because we actually had to film a little bit early last week, so we wanted to catch you up. ECAC and NJCAAE matches are still going strong. We're kind of slowing to a halt a little bit with recent things coming up.
Immense.
But yeah, I mean, actually, in these past 2 weeks, we've been going back and forth with wins and losses. You know, our Overwatch team last week unfortunately lost to BSC Mystics, which.
Anytime that we mention on air that we're gonna crush it, we don't. So we should just stop doing that.
We're gonna go unbiased for the rest of the leagues,
Oh, no!
rest of the seasons. Oh boy.
Post nasal drip. That's all it is. I promise.
So yeah, last week was a tough one for the Overwatch team in the NJCAA because we hoped on going 5-0. Unfortunately, we're at the top of the leaderboard with, we think, two other very strong teams in the BSC Mystics and the Trailblazers Overwatch team. But yeah, it was a tough matchup. I believe we actually did take one map from them, but they were just running and gunning very hard.
That they were, and it's almost a lesson in like what happens when you get a little headstrong and you get full of yourself. Because we went into the round last week with this idea again, you know, NJCAA saying that, whoa, you know, Overwatch is a team to beat.
We are just crushing teams.
Yes, Lackawanna crushes teams in Overwatch. Put it up. Yeah. And we were like, we got this. Yep. And you know, doing that, you have to stay hungry. You have to stay wanting to win and wanting to be competitive. And as soon as you lose sight of that, as soon as you think that you know you're unbeatable, that's when people can catch up to you.
You got to keep your head in the game. And I think we were coming off of a weekend where a couple of our players were away. We didn't have like the same team practices in the facility over the weekend.
We were a little cold going in. So, again, there were a couple of things at play.
Yeah. And a similar thing happened the next day with our Rocket League matchup. You know, we like to think that our Overwatch team and our Rocket League team are super solid. Not to say that our other teams aren't solid. Fortnite and Smash are a little bit new. League of Legends is a little spread in terms of rank. But again, I mean, just to jump ahead real quick, the League of Legends team won last week as well. They 2-0'd Paul Smith's College.
Doing hot.
So, Michelle, you're doing a great job. Shout out to Michelle. Shout out to all the kids on the league team as well for putting in the work and continuously grinding and getting better, working on new champs and we're new heroes, you know. It's a tough game to learn, and we definitely appreciate all the grinding and practicing that you guys are doing.
And where can you watch those games?
Twitch.tv/LackawannaEDU.
Boom.
Plugged. So yeah, jumping back into Rocket League. We faced Northern Essex Community College last week on 3-4. And again, we went into the match pretty confident, heads hanging high. And we were only able to take one game out of the best of 5 series, unfortunately. Yeah. But again, I think it just goes back to keeping that team mentality, staying in there, grinding, putting in the extra hours, researching your opponent, figuring out where their weaknesses are. And I think because of the weird weekend we had, we just came in a little shaky at the beginning of the week.
Yeah. But I also don't want to just throw it all to us. I want to say that the teams we played, they knew that they were going up against us. I mean, again, attention was brought to us. So, I mean, to be fair, to all of the other teams out there, when they do, their research on us. So just to go back to Overwatch and touch on it for a second, they clearly watched our tapes and noticed that we're not good at defending against dive. They went dive.
We need to do what Boise State does and lock our VODs.
I know, but at the same time, we like allowing you to see our streams on twitch.tv/LackawannaEDU. So there is something to say that lock the videos after a while so that people can't. But this is, you know what? I like spurring the competition, almost like Elon Musk just handing out patents saying, try to beat me.
Make your stuff better.
Exactly. Please. We want the league to be better. We want everybody to be better. So, come at us, bro.
Yep. But again, moving into this week, I think we reeled it in a little bit. The Overwatch team and Rocket League team went back to the drawing boards. The Overwatch team faced USC Sumter. It actually was a tough game, though. There was a lot of back and forth. Sumter, the Fire Ants came out of the gate pretty hard, and they were knocking us off the point left and right initially. They took the first map.
They did actually, because we went in, we took the first point.
Right.
And so it's funny because it was almost like, all right, we're back in it, we're back in our head, and then you could see that they got back into this groove where it was almost complacency.
Yeah, they got comfortable.
Yeah, they got, because we could do this will be easy, and then they started pushing us back, and communication dropped a little bit, and Matt West, he's not here today for reasons.
Out of our hands.
Yeah, our hands are. But he, in between maps was like, guys, we need to keep the communication up. Yeah. And, he kind of took charge, him, Nate, Moose, they all, Trin,
it's
Michael,
a group effort.
Is that the last one on the team?
Yeah,
and
it's
Julius.
a group effort, but some of them tend to be more vocal than others on calls and stuff like that.
But then we need, come on, get it in, and they did, and they pulled it together.
Yeah. And as I was watching the match, you could tell, I think our tanks were the ones that brought us back into the fight, to be honest with you, because Quakey and the Parry God, Nate and Julius, they had several multi-kills, double here, triple there, and then in the final match, actually, Nate had a quad kill.
Yeah, he did.
So that kind of rounded out the match.
So. You can see that quad kill on twitch.tv/LackawannaEDU.
Plug. So, and same thing for Rocket League. So after our Overwatch team came back in the NJCAAE, same for our Rocket League squad, and they went up against Crowder College on 3-11, and they actually 3-0'd them. So came out swinging, I actually saw a couple pretty nice aerials from Cross, a.k.a. Chasers. Yeah. Dom's always flying through the air like crazy, ball chasing a little bit. You need to cut that out.
You know what I have to say, though, watching the Rocket League games, I like being able to watch those on Twitch, because I wasn't in the facility for the Crowder game, and watching it on Twitch is awesome because of primarily just the spectate mode does this automatic thing where it's constantly following whoever's closest to the ball, right? And it's awesome. I wish Overwatch had that, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it would be beautiful. Make streaming a lot easier.
It really would. Instead, I'm trying to follow the game makers.
Yeah. Also, a great thing about watching Rocket League streams is more often than not, Coach Diggs is the one shoutcasting.
Yes.
And he is not partial or biased at all when he is watching these matches. He calls his kids out on what he sees. He'll be like, oh, another double commit, and you can almost hear him writing it down on a notebook so he can ream them out later. And he does. And you know what?
It's my favorite part, honestly.
Even his Rocket League kids, they come to me and they're like, we'd love that Diggs doesn't give us any crap. He corrects us on our mistakes. He makes us focus on certain things. So shout out to Coach Diggs as well for helping out the Rocket
Hell yeah,
League
Diggs. We love you.
Because they actually made it to HV GamerCon, which we'll get to in a second because there's updates with that, likely. But moving on to the ECAC, again, we say this every week, but more competition. The Overwatch team had a tough matchup, and they knew that going into it.
Yeah, they knew. Catawba, who we went up against, they were a tough team, and we kind of went in. This was the opposite, where as opposed to going in headstrong, we went in almost like, this is going to be tough, and it was. We ended up losing. We had lost all three maps, but hey, it's okay. Knocked us down a peg a little bit. It was a rough week for us.
It gives us a VOD to review.
It does, which is, there are no failures, just opportunities to improve. We didn't play ECAC, and we'll talk in broader perspective about why in a bit.
Yeah, there's crazy stuff going around all over the country right now. But again, Rocket League with ECAC, 1 win, 1 loss in the past 2 weeks. The loss that we took against Stockton University was a hell of a battle.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, we only lost 3 games to 2, so we really took that series to its full potential. But again, the reason we actually lost was in the final seconds. We had a triple commit in our own field, and you could hear Diggs call it out, and it's just, you know, they're in the heat of the match.
They got ball hungry.
Yeah, and I believe it was in overtime actually. So it was golden goal to win it, and they all went up for the ball in the back corner, and the deflection came out perfectly for Stockton University to bury it in the back of the net. It's unfortunate. We did beat Nazareth College last week, so. Again, these past 2 weeks have been a little bit of win, a little bit of loss. You know, we're still finding
But it's
our
also
groove.
been a weird past 2
and now
weeks.
we're just getting a huge wrench thrown in. So before we go into that kind of stuff, also I wanted to touch on Fortnite and Super Smash Bros. Yes. Again, we've had some issues with singles scheduling, and our doubles and 3v3 crew battles are getting a little complicated with scheduling because they tend to overlap with other games that we have going on.
And you only have so many screens in the facility, too.
So we're really trying to hone in and perfect that structure around Fortnite and Smash Bros. So keep supporting those guys because they're really working their butts off. Some of them even end up having to play each other on some weeks, and it's funny. I think we might have touched on that last week.
Yeah, last week it was the couple that played each other.
Ari and Logan had to play each other, and Ari actually beat him, so probably a little turmoil there in that relationship. So yeah, that's an update on all of our teams. So that's going to do it for Patch Notes.
And so, we move on to World News. World News tonight with the Game Room. I'm David Muir.
I'm scared.
Rightfully so, Teddy.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the news, it's this. My wife woke up this morning and turned on Good Morning America, and everything right now is about coronavirus, specifically COVID-19. And it is. I mean, why are you listening to us talk about a worldwide pandemic on an esports podcast? Well, good question, audience.
Yeah, it's affecting us pretty heavily, unfortunately, because, as you know, we're in a couple different leagues that are spread out across the country, and in different parts of the country, some people are taking preventative measures to keep everyone healthy. So,
and it's affecting schools specifically. A lot of schools, especially in our area in the Northeast, because we are one of the pockets within the country that is being affected by it. New York is under a state of emergency. PA has 10 cases now?
Yeah, I think upwards of 15, actually.
Yeah, and they're from Pittsburgh, Philly, and then even as close as Luzerne County and Carbondale.
There is one in Luzerne County?
Yeah, well, there's 3. So this morning, there are 3 high school students who were prevented from going to class because of suspected, again...
What's my BPM right now?
However, it's affecting Lackawanna College. We are on an extended spring break right now.
So the administration put out an email yesterday, which is 3/11 if you're watching this on Friday, that that extended spring break an extra week. Our dorm students aren't allowed to move in until 3/22. Classes aren't going to resume till 3/23. And with that, because our esports kids are still in season in every game, we've been running into a lot of issues. And essentially, because of the amount of kids that I would have in that room at any time during the day, I've been forced to kind of shut it down to prevent from kids coming together and congregating those germs.
And as a result, a lot of those kids don't have PCs at home. So everybody's saying, oh, well, you can just play video games. Well, again, playing on PC, it's a different beast. Not everybody has a beefy PC. A lot of us own potatoes.
Not everybody has internet.
Yeah, some of us are operating up with AOL accounts still.
Yeah, it sucks, and it's really affecting us, and it's affecting our students. We got 38 kids in the program who are now displaced for 2 weeks, where they would be coming here practicing and competing. This is their home. It's kind of unfortunate, and we're not the only one dealing with it. I know.
What, there are 50 schools or something like that?
I talked to the league admins yesterday, and he said something like 50 plus schools between the 2 leagues have called and expressed what's going on in their schools. Some of them have moved to complete online formats for the remainder of the semester, and shut down the facilities altogether. Now, we don't know if some of them have PCs to play from home. If so, that's all well and good, but for us, out of the 38 kids, I probably have under a dozen that can play from home.
I was on the Discord all last night with my Overwatch team, trying to see who has a PC from home who can essentially build one of Trin.
Yeah.
Trin would say, I just bought a power supply. I'm good to go tomorrow.
So we're really waiting on direction from the ECAC and NJCAAE league admins, which as of right now, there's not too many solutions because NJCAA, there's not as many schools. It's more geographically spread out, so it's not affecting the majority
Everybody.
of the population in that group. ECAC, way more schools, more East Coast-ish.
Yeah.
So they're heavily being affected. And at this point, we're just contacting all of our opponents and saying, listen, until we have direct instructions from the league admins, we're going to leave this because we can't reschedule outside of the week that we're supposed to play in.
Yeah, because every round is week to week. So
it's really unfortunate. So we're just
keep touching my face.
we're waiting to see what happens. As of right now, we're gonna hold our records at what they're at and just hope that maybe the league admins push back the leagues a couple weeks. But even still, if it continues to progress the way that it has, and more schools decide to go to that online format and shut down their facilities.
I mean, Overwatch League is on pause now for the time being, or at least the public events are on pause.
No spectator events for Overwatch League. March Madness will be played without fans.
NBA is just postponing their season.
A Utah Jazz player tested positive for corona while he was actively playing, so they shut down the rest of the season. Who else? E3 was canceled.
E3 was canceled.
Just for us,
South
anyway.
by Southwest.
The Scranton Parade.
Oh, Coachella, the bougie version.
Yeah, Coachella, and if you're watching this outside of our area, we have a huge St. Patrick's Day parade in Scranton every year, and they postponed that.
Postponed it.
You know?
Historically, back during the Spanish flu in 1918, when after the parade, a whole bunch of people in Scranton died. So maybe that was a good for us to postpone
Maybe
the parade.
it's necessary. Not to say that people wouldn't die anyway if there wasn't a virus going
But at
around,
least
because the Scranton Parade gets pretty wild.
Yeah, but it prevents thousands of people from coming into the city, so it was a good thing.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on. So we're gonna try and keep you updated as much as possible with what's gonna go on our campus, within our leagues.
However, next week, if you're looking forward to the Game Room podcast, there may not be so many updates, and we just may be talking about this again and how it's affecting us. And
We'll have a nice little just like armchair discussion.
we'll sit in
Send us some topics. What do you want us to talk about?
Leave a comment. What do you want us to talk about?
anything. We're open to anything, literally. So yeah, I guess that's all we really have at this point. So stay tuned to our Facebook, Twitter. We'll try and update you as much as possible. For all of us here at the Game Room, I'm Teddy.
I'm Rob.
And thank you for playing.
If you like what you see here, make sure to smash this like button on mobile, this like button on PC, hit subscribe up here, or maybe it's down here, and be sure to watch our last video right here.